Enterprise architecture management helps us to create a basis from which we're able to look into the future in a strategic manner in order to see where we can consolidate applications and systems. We want to classify and prioritize strategic projects, define standard platforms, and make it transparent to communicate and represent it appropriately. We already have very detailed knowledge of our business processes in the fields in which we're actively engaged. Despite all the growth and complexity, what we're doing here is taking proactive and preparative measures to be able to act pragmatically, fast, and closely aligned to the business in the future. In general, the subject of enterprise architecture management is not primarily focused on by small and medium-sized businesses. However, the Renus Group has significantly grown in the past few years, reaching a growth rate of up to 20% per year. Hence, on the one hand, we try to cover the gamut of satisfying individual requirements from our customers and from different business areas. While on the other hand, we try to stay up to date and well-informed about the different plans and initiatives, as well as the vast number of applications, in order to keep the complexity under control and to retain transparency. At Renus, IT governance always consists of three factors. Firstly, the people. Secondly, the processes and best practices. And thirdly, the tools. So people play a leading role in IT governance, and it is indispensable to involve stakeholders from the different IT units as well as business areas. More important than tools or system support is the necessity of good communication with the business areas to manage the requirements effectively. This is one area where the tool supports us. For us, it is a must to take our enterprise's goals into consideration when planning and governing our IT. The business goals, business processes, and business requirements are of the utmost importance. All business requirements and projects are to be derived from them, and we, as IT, also want the business area to properly formulate its requirements instead of demanding specific solutions, i.e., let's take system XY. In this respect, this EAM approach helps us to start with the processes rather than discussing particular applications or solutions. What helps us the most is the transparency, since you can really see that identical processes are realized by different applications in the as-is architecture. This allows us to both reveal a necessary complexity on the one hand, while on the other hand, to communicate the existing standard platforms that we also want to use in future projects. We compared 2 or 3 different solutions before deciding on one. However, the decisive factor for planning IT was that planning IT functions as an umbrella for all IT processes and provides a bird's-eye view of the IT, the master planning, and the project portfolio, instead of trying to describe the concrete operational IT processes, such as project management, product management, and service processes. What I really liked was the fact that planning IT has this clear focus and thus remains straightforward and manageable for us, so that we don't have a huge administrative mess with high overhead in terms of skills and resources. I was really impressed by this aspect of planning IT. Yes, the philosophy behind planning IT was a perfect fit for us. However, it's not only the tool that convinced us, but also the consultants who really supported our pragmatic approach, as well as the product management that implemented many of our requirements, although we are definitely not one of their biggest customers. I really liked this about planning IT and Alphabet, and I don't have the slightest regret about my decision. Basically, we intend to quickly build upon what we have successfully established so far with Planning IT. We want to expand our IT portfolio management as well as our demand-to-budget collaborative planning processes. In this way, we can provide our business areas with a tool with which they can get a complete overview over our as-is architecture and master plans. They can therefore see where this leads us to, what projects we have, and how they perform. This is my first goal for the time being. Against the background of purely implementing functionality in Planning IT, I would like to focus on adding IT cost management and evaluation capabilities in a second step. Well, I think we were right to start small, pragmatically and with speed. We optimized these processes and solutions as we went along and gathered experience using them. What we call performing while transforming. In our case, this was a much better approach than wasting months or even years talking about what other details to describe in Planning IT and what evaluation criteria might be relevant to us. This is also how we proceeded in other fields before. I think this was the best way to make headway.